Hey traders, Raghi here, and today actually represented a pretty exciting development in the way that we've been dealing with the volatility that we've seen over the past week plus at this point. So the thing to remember about what we're trying to do here in terms of the managing the volatility is also partly being able to gauge the volatility, understand as early on as possible what kind of market we're dealing with. So you have to think about splitting the day up into really multiple days. And I won't get much into the pre-market setup that I do here, but suffice to say, I'm looking at setup sometimes as early as 6 a.m. and there are all sorts of different cutoffs that I'm looking at in different psychology. So I'm talking about a very specific one right now. That's the 9:30 to 10 o'clock, so the clearing range. And one of the things that we're looking at is to make sure that the price action between 9:30 and 10 o'clock doesn't exceed a certain amount of price movement. That's very important. We don't want it to exceed a certain number, because if it does, the expectations for exhaustion at either level is going to be higher. What I'm looking for is where we'll get a follow through like what we did today. So the first criteria is know your time. The clearing range is the first 30 minutes after the bell rings, 9:30 to 10 o'clock on the dot. And then I'm looking for follow through clearing range levels. Now, again, that in of itself will only take me so far, because at that point, I know that the next time I need to start respecting is getting closer to the lunchtime doldrums, which is 11:30. And that brings up yet another type of strategy and another type of psychology. So I have a 6 a.m. psychology, 8:30, the clearing range we just talked about, and then a psychology that's going to take me from 11:30 to approximately 1:30. Because at this point now I'm dealing with kind of the way the markets can meander or just follow the trend that was set earlier in the day. And when you understand what this ball of candles right here, with especially take a note of that candle right there, when you can take advantage of those shifts. Now this is on a 5-minute time frame. If I were to change this to a 3, it would still be the same type of times, same type of psychology, but you'll see it's a little bit more sensitive. If I were to change this to a 2, same thing. So I think a lot of people think, well, Rag, is this just a 5-minute trade? Absolutely not. It's really any type of short-term time frame, which is even more sensitive to the time of day and different types of transitions. I mean, heck, we could even take this to a 1-minute time frame and talk about the same times and same types of transitions. I will typically not go smaller than say a 3. I mean, you can go to a 1-minute chart, no doubt about that. That's certainly, and the same types of transitions occur, and the same type of measurements about the clearing are applicable. So this is where you'll notice all my lines and levels are absolutely automated. So what I want you to take away from this video here is, number one, we're actually seeing about as normal a price movement range as we've seen in some time, which is good news. It still means there's plenty of volatility, different momentum involved. That's great, volatility. And we're also seeing, because of that, more respect to tools that we've used for a very long time, giving us a minimum of 2 very nice setups just for 2 out of 4 of the different setups that I look at every single day. And this doesn't matter if you're on a 5-minute, if you're on a 3-minute, it just doesn't matter. So going into the Asian session, we see that the same psychology that carried us into the lunchtime doldrums, out of the lunchtime doldrums, and into the close is persisting. So what we want to do is continue to play that hand, continue to play that trend, as it looks like this market does want to head higher into the Asian session. Few things. Make sure, if you've been following my recap videos, you know what I'm looking for out of the yen going into the Asian session. You know what I'm looking at out of the Nikkei going into the Asian session. And remember, if you're a futures day trader, I tell you right now, your world is a 24-hour world of awesomeness. Don't limit yourself to 9:30 to 4. Sure, you can do that. That's certainly something you can just say, you know what, I'm going to master this right here. And that's fine. But remember, there's plenty of opportunity preceding that, and there's plenty of opportunity after that. And I just don't want you to miss these opportunities. I'll see you in the next update.